Happy Friday, guys, and welcome in here to WagerTalk TV. This is PuckTime. I'm Andrew. I have Carmine with me. As usual, we have two games to break down, one for today, one for tomorrow. We'll talk Carolina and New Jersey, and we will talk Vegas and Edmonton as well. Both those series will be very entertaining. Last night, Florida went up 2-0 on the Maple Leafs. They steal both games on the road, and Dallas, they tie things up and even up their series at one game apiece. Pretty crazy. You see the first period after last game was 4-2. Yesterday it's 0-0, and then a bunch of goals in the second period as another game goes over 5.5 in that series. But Carmine, looking forward to the show today, man. Happy Friday to you. And we have a new feature, new segment we are bringing onto the show very soon as well.
Yeah, I'm going to say first, man, Andrew, I did not even watch the Dallas game. I was so frustrated last night watching that Leafs game. Those of you who came along and know I took over 6.5 as a 5% play in that game. It's 2-1 at the end of the first. I thought, okay, that's not too bad. And then within the first minute of the second period, it is 3-2 for Florida. And I think probability-wise, this is probably my biggest loss of the season on a bet that should have hit. They win 39 minutes without a goal. All we needed was a Leaf goal, tied up at 3, and we're good. That ticket hits. Anything could have happened in that game, and it finishes 3-2. If anyone told you, I'm going to give you an over 6.5, and I'm going to give you 5 goals in the first 21 minutes of the game, you would pretty much bet your whole bankroll. Well, I wouldn't recommend betting your whole bankroll, but you would pretty much bet your whole bankroll on it. The in-game total at that point was 9.5, and it finished 3-2. I'm so frustrated. People wonder why I poke fun at my Leaf. Just crap like this. This team is now down 2-0. The record for NHL teams in the playoffs when they're down 0-2 in a series, 55 and 343. That is what the Leafs are up against now, Andrew. 55 and 343. Honestly, I'm disgusted by it. It's so bad that I called Missy. I got a hold of Missy in our office, and I asked her to put together a coupon code for me. This one, I got to take a shot at them. So, Dan, I don't know if you have that coupon code ready, but this is for like a 3-day all access. I just finished venting, but what better way to drop like $20 off a 3-day all access for the weekend than using the code Leafs19? Oh, it should be 1967, Dan. 1967, not 76. Sorry. We'll get that fixed. 1967, which is the last time the team won the cup. They didn't even have color TV back then. But anyways, 1967. Guys, Andrew, I'm done venting. I'm going to talk about give me your thoughts on the game real quick, and then throw it back to me, and I'm going to tell people about some exciting news that you and I have for them.
First of all, Carm, you have been on an unbelievable run, man. Those losses happen. It's a shame. It's a big one, but everybody out there should understand that you have been off to a great playoff start. Regular season was unbelievable. Good day to buy that 3-day all access. I will say that for myself as well, involved in plenty of sports this weekend. And I appreciate you sending some soccer winners my way as well. So those 3-day all access are great. Here's what I'll say about that series. Honestly, Carm, the Maple Leafs get over the hump in round 1, but I feel like not enough credit was given towards Ilya Samsonov for how well he played. And now they're kind of getting, quote-unquote, goalied their own. I mean, we talked about it yesterday with Brian about the expected goal percentage in the first game, and yesterday as well. The dangerous scoring opportunities were like 3-1 ratio for Toronto compared to Florida. But yet Florida gets a lead and they hang on to it. And that's just the thing, is that right now, Florida is very comfortable with leads. once they get that lead, they're not blowing it. But I will say this. We've seen it all playoffs long. You gave us that crazy stat, Carm, and that would probably have Leaf fans worried. But road teams have done pretty well. They got to go in there and win the first one in Florida. All of a sudden, they can win the second one and tie it up 2-2. So they still are the home team in the series, but they got to go steal some games in Florida now. I will say this. The fact that the Leafs team total has gone under in back-to-back games, I would look for the over in probably the next one. Just my look here. Some of these goals have to start going in. And if you're not looking at those, and if you want to bet player shots on goal for the Maple Leafs, I'm sure you'd agree with me, Carm, Bobrovsky over on saves has to be a look.
Yeah. Yeah, listen, he got peppered with shots yesterday. I think Marner, Matthews, and Nylander, the pick I gave out on the show, all had 6 shots on goal. They all responded, had shots on goal. Bobrovsky's playing fantastic. He is, I'm telling you, he's standing on his head. I was going to say Alex Lyon as a joke, but obviously it's Bobrovsky. He's playing fantastic. And for you guys who are south of the border or even outside of Ontario, you can't watch the news here. I turned on the news this morning, Andrew, and they're showing the highlights and the coach is talking, and they're talking about Sam Bennett, who threw that hit on Matthew Nyes or on Nyes, but all they're doing is complaining. They want the guy sent to Guantanamo Bay for throwing a hit and stick checking or cross checking Bunting, who like literally flopped on he might as well be an Italian soccer player for how he flops on the ice trying to draw a penalty. You can't watch the news here. The sooner this series is over, the better, so we can talk hockey and stuff. But anyways, with that said, I'm done my venting. Let me tell you guys about a new feature we're going to have on every show. So the powers at WagerTalk, and I love our owners because we do at WagerTalk a lot of charitable stuff in communities, and they are giving Andrew and I a $500 bankroll. Andrew and I are going to come up with one bet each a night. Now, this is probably not going to follow proper bankroll management, but it'll be like $25 wagers on a $500 account. And we are going to put a play out every single day each and try and roll that bankroll up right through the Stanley Cup Finals. And all the money, including the original stake, will all go to charity. And you in the live chat will be deciding which charities we will do this to. So hopefully we can run this up and we'll take the most popular ones, the 4 most popular ones we see in our chat over the next week or so. And we will run a Twitter poll and we'll let you guys all decide. And then we will divvy the money up. This is provided Andrew and I, we can build this bankroll up. So let's give it a shot. It's cool. It's almost like that challenge, the 10 to 10,000 or 100 to 10,000, whatever it is. This is us, and hopefully we can do something well for the community. So we'll likely get trolled a little bit. That's perfectly fine. Think about what we're trying to do here, and at the end of the day, we are just trying to help people out and help some charities out. So I think it's a great idea. I think the powers that be in our production that got this put together, and of course, are the owners of WagerTalk, who are fantastic in always supporting local charities, not only here in Canada, but out throughout the U.S. as well, too.
Absolutely, Carm, and a great way for us to end our season here on Puck Time and gather some good engagement with the audience, and of course support a charity, which is something that you and I both really, really want to do. Carm, it'll also be kind of fun. It'll be like the Bill Belichick mindset. Just do your job. You and I will have to do our job every day and find one pick each, and we'll have that tweeted out on the WagerTalk Twitter, or the PuckTime Twitter, as well. So I look forward to it, and more details to follow. Guys, comment below any charities you think we should use and your thoughts on this challenge. We look forward to hopefully having a lot of success with it. Carm, all good to jump into these games?
Let's do it.
All right, game number 1, the only game going on today. We've got Carolina and New Jersey. Carolina minus 115, New Jersey minus 105. Total as expected at 5.5. Under is minus 135. Over plus $1.15. Looking at some of the stats there from the opening game, well, Carolina outshot the Devils big time in the first period. We barely saw any shots from the Devils at all going into the second. But the Devils certainly caught up. Final numbers, 23-18 shots on goal. Power plays, 0 for 2 for the Devils, 0 for 3 for the Hurricanes. Face-offs were about even, the hits were about even, and block shots were about even. What I really saw was the forwards, like I said, when we broke this game down, just shutting down the New Jersey Devils. This Carolina team is so obsessed with defense that every coach would love to coach this team, in my opinion. And then they counterattack you. Brett Pesce, Jesper Fast, Seth Jarvis, Kokoniemi got his first of the playoffs. I mean, these guys are stepping up in big ways, and for them to have a game like that without Sebastian Aho really having a big game, I think is huge. But Carm, you have to think the Devils are going to fire more shots. And even though we have some good goaltenders in this series, 23-18 in shots, and that one finishes 5-1 and goes over the total. Does this one go over again, or do we see more defense in game two?
It's let me make sure. Andrew. The weird thing here is there weren't like you said, not a lot of shots on goal, and the game goes over the total in that first game. And I think it could be the complete opposite tonight in the sense of we're going to see more shots on goal, but I think the game stays under the total. You look at the Devils; they had 18 shots on goal in that game. And I'll get to that in a second, but look at the in that series against the Rangers, 28, 24, 28, 23, 43, 36, and 24. Never dipped as low as they did in this game. And I know that the common opinion out there, and it could be also true as well too with the Devils, is they were probably flat. They came off a very emotional series against New York Rangers, their heated rivals, and then have to jump right on a plane and get to Carolina and play a Canes team that's very good on home ice. The line hasn't moved. It's literally the same line as it was in the first game. I think Carolina was minus 120, and now they're minus 115 in this game. And I think the books as well to expect the Devils are going to be a lot better in game two than they were in game one. And that's why I think with them being a lot better, it's not going to be one of those 5-1 score lines. I think it gravitates back to one of those lower scoring games, and the game stays under the total. That's why it's juiced the way it is, in spite of that first game finishing 5-1. My only thought is this going to be, and we had someone in our chat, I think it was yesterday, and I'll get his name right. It's Pobody Nerfect, not nobody's perfect. It's Pobody Nerfect. And he said, is this series going to be a homer series, with the Canes winning 2 at home, Devils holding their own 2 at home and going back and forth? It very well could be. It could be like that Rangers Canes series of last year where they went back and forth, each team winning on their home ice until Game 7, where the Rangers went into Carolina and beat them to move on to face Tampa Bay. It very well could be like that. The Canes are playing well. I love the way the Canes are playing. They play the same style of hockey every single night. The only difference is the Devils are going to be better tonight, and that's why I like the under in this one.
That game had no business going over the total. It just, I was lucky that I had the Devils team total under. But in general, that one should have gone over. And I like what you said there, because you pretty much said there might be more shots, but I think there might be more saves and more shots from the outside. It's a really good example of, I know I bring up shots on goal. I talk about it. But it doesn't mean I factor that completely into my handicap, how many shots. It's about how many dangerous shots, right? It's a real good example when you've got a team with 18, the other team with 23, but they put up 5 goals, right? We might see more shots tonight, but they might be all shots from the outside, which is why I do think it's a good night to look at shots on goal props from the New Jersey Devils. But I'm going to go with the first period under 1.5 at minus 120. And I'll tell you what, I agree with you, Carm. I don't want to fade Carolina at home. They played a picture
Yeah.
perfect defensive game. I'm sure it might not be as perfect this time around, but if I'm betting on this Devils team, or if I'm taking a team total under on the Canes, it's going to be once the Devils get back home. And I've been wrong this playoffs about the home ice advantage with the last change. Evidently, I've taken that out of my handicap. But with Carolina, I will say they might be the only team that still have that big advantage. Would you agree with that?
I do. They're the one team that is kind of mushing the whole road teams are winning at an unbelievable clip kind of thing, Andrew. My question to you is this: what do you think the Devils do as far as goaltending tonight? They pulled Akira Schmid out of that game and brought in Vanasek. I'm seeing at different places. It's nothing is confirmed, but I'm seeing Schmid's name there as well. Still, but do you go to Vanasek or do you keep Akira Schmid in for one more game? And if they lose that one, you start Vanasek on home ice in game 3.
I'm going to die on this hill, Carm. I think that, in my opinion, if you change goalies during the playoffs, it's never a good thing to go back to the other goalie you initially replaced. So you got to ride with your guy. But I do agree. It wouldn't. This game depends on how the Devils lose. If they lost, let's say 3-2, we still see Schmid next game. If they lose 5-1 again, you got to mix things up. It's pretty much the same thing. That would be crazy, though, if it was a carbon copy of what we saw in the round 1 for them. And, Vanacek comes in game 3 and they end up winning the series. That would be crazy. But I'm just the kind of guy that once you make one switch, you don't go back to the guy you already replaced and put on the bench. Once you start doing that, I think you're losing.
No, and you're right, Andrew. You don't want to be going sort of 1 in 1A, rotating goalies like some teams will do throughout the season. Kind of like what, Minnesota did, during the last maybe 2 months of the season where they literally rotated Gustafsson and Marc-Andre Fleury every game. 1 in, 1 out, 1 in, 1 out. I don't think a goalie gets into sync when you do that to him. I think any good goalie wants to be between the pipes every single game if they could. You can't do that during the regular season in an 82-game season, but every really good goalie wants to be there. So it remains to be seen what happens here. I'm not sure if he's got a short leash or not, but if the Canes come out and they start firing pucks on net and some of those go in and there's some soft ones, 1 or 2 soft ones get in, I think he gets pulled. I hope there's no soft ones that go in because I want the under. So I'll leave it at that.
Carm, you've been on such an unbelievable run, but I know I kind of was, lucky to have that team total under last game, and the full game should have gone under. But do you have any interest in doing that, like what I did in game 1, or overall you just want both teams involved and take the full game under, or would you look towards a team total under?
So I'm just quickly, as you're saying that, I'm looking at like the team totals right now, and you've got the Canes team total is 2.5 minus 140 to the over. The New Jersey team total is over 2.5 minus 125. Those are right where they should be. And the problem here is that if I'm leaning under, I don't want either team scoring 3, but one of them is likely going to score 3, and you can't take them both because unless it's a high-scoring game, you're going to lose vig on one of them. So it's a losing proposition. So if you think the Canes are going to play as well as they did in the previous game, and the game staying under the total, and you're thinking something along the lines of a 3-2 game, then you take the plus money on the under for the Devils. So I might have screwed up your actual question to me originally about taking the team total unders, and I'm looking at the team total overs. But if you think one's going to get to 3, like I said, if you only think one of them is going to get to 3, Andrew, then you take the under. What is it? Even money and plus. Actually, it's minus 115, so you can't really do that either because you're going to end up on the wrong end of it as well too, unless both of them stay under the total. I don't see this as a 2-1 game, but it is the Canes. We have seen them. We saw against the Islanders some low scoring games as well too. So we've beaten a dead horse here. I think I like the under. I'm going to mention a player's prop that I hope we can get you another winner to the guys in our chat. And maybe we should discuss another game.
Let's do it, man. Let's jump into game 2 between the Oilers and Vegas Golden Knights. We have Edmonton minus 125. This is, of course, the second road game. Vegas plus 105. Total, as expected, as usual, at 6.5. Carm, I talked last show about the first period overs in Edmonton Oiler games. Vegas as well, a team that gets off to a hot start. And we talk in general just about how comfortable we are laying juice with certain props. And the fact of the matter is, I'm looking towards the over in the first period in this one as well. What do you have for me in this one?
So, you know what? First of all, as far as the total goes, I get it. Why it's a 6.5 minus 135 every single game between these teams. 4 during the regular season, 1 in the playoffs thus far has gone over the total. But that game, like as far as, you know, I like the Oilers. I liked the Oilers in this series. I still like the Oilers in this series. And now you can get them at plus 120. But that disappears, of course, or gets even better depending on tonight's game. If the Oilers win, they're going to go back to being the series favorites, obviously heading home. And it'll probably be about minus 140-ish. So if you like the Oilers tonight, take that series bet because you're getting them at plus money, and they won't be plus money if they lose tonight. Well, they will be plus money if they lose tonight. They're going to probably be about plus 190 if they lose tonight. But that game, Andrew, I'm going to draw a line right through it. It was a sloppy game. Anyone could have won game 1 the way that game was played. That was truly pond hockey. Not a lot of defense, and the Oilers, who've been playing great defense throughout the playoffs and even towards the end of the regular season, they let Vegas roll right over them. The defense played bad, made bad passes in their own defensive zone, gave away pucks. Skinner, I thought Skinner played well. He didn't play great, but you can't hang all those goals on Skinner, the 5 that he allowed. Forget about the empty netter, because the defense in front of him played terrible. It's another game, much like the game we just discussed, where I expect both teams to be better tonight. And by better doesn't mean that they're going to score goals. I just mean they're going to be better defensively and offensively. So I think we're going to see a better game. This is one of those ones that could very well finish 4-3, goes over the total. I'm not going to touch the total, even though the first 5 games, or all 5 games between these two, have gone over the total. I'm taking the Oilers. Tomorrow, not today. Because we're talking about it today. I'm thinking about tonight, but I'm taking the Oilers tomorrow, minus 125. It's going to be on my card. I'll tell you that much. Oilers minus 125, and I would suggest taking the Oilers plus 120-ish, depending on where you're playing at. I see it at 120. It's available to win the series because I think, no disrespect to Vegas, but if they win tomorrow night in what I think is kind of a must-win situation, is that if they head back to Edmonton at 1, they're happy with the way the first couple of games went, and home ice is flipped. So take the plus 120 there. No disrespect to the Vegas Golden Knights, but I think Edmonton is a better team.
Great stuff there, Carm, and I like that future look. I mean, well, the serious wager. The adjusted price is great. You can get a really good number on it. I was talking on Prop It Up about Oilers plus 550 to win the Stanley Cup, but Leon Draisaitl 8-1 to win the Conn Smythe Trophy. And he's certainly outplaying his cohort with Connor McDavid right now. He had 4 goals in a game and they lost. And a reporter asked him, well, do you still feel good about those 4 goals? And he said, we lost. No, I don't feel good about them at all. He wants to win. Back-to-back nights, a couple days ago, we saw 2 players score 4 goals, and both those players ended up losing their games. And that just can't happen. Carm, you know, I'm usually a goalie defender, but I was scanning around Money Puck, and do you know what ranking the analytical people have Stuart Skinner in the playoffs for all goalies that have played. He's 23rd of 24th in the rankings right now for all his analytical stats put together. The only guy worse than him this playoffs is Marc-Andre Fleury, and he played one game. It's crazy to look at, and it's not all his fault because, of course, the defense has put him in very tough situations. But there's certainly some saves that he has to have. I believe he will bounce back. He has looked like a great goaltender off a bad game. He's a good response type of guy. But I've said this all the time, and I'll say it again. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but you heard me last game, Carm, talking about this between these two teams. The team total over continues to be in play in all kinds of Oilers games, even when they lose. It's amazing how a team can put up 4 goals so often, and even in some of those games, they don't win. It was plus money. It was a short plus price at certain books for that. And that's probably where I'll be looking again. But no matter the price, I might have to sprinkle on that first period over again. The rate it's hit. The Oilers don't take any time to settle into games. Their speed is right there, right from the jump, and Vegas will match it. But I truly believe if you like this Edmonton team, you're not playing the money line, you're playing the team total. If they win every single game this playoff so far that they've won, they've got at least 4 goals. And now in another game they lost, they still got 4 goals. So I'll look towards the team total. What about any prop guys? What did you notice in game 1 as far as any prop guy? I'm not really asking for any picks, Carm, but anybody you noticed that stuck out to you?
Well, obviously, Draisaitl stuck out to me because the guy just kept scoring in the game. You know, I'm talking to a friend, and I'm like, he may need to score 6 tonight for the Oilers to win this game, and he got 4. An unbelievable game for them. It just this Vegas team as well too. Listen, down the stretch, they had the Oilers hot on their heels for that number 1 seed in home ice in the Pacific, and they kept on winning their games. So you have to say something about a team that keeps winning games. And then in that first round, we can make excuses and talk about the fact that Winnipeg were missing some key players, and you know what I mean, they eked into the playoffs, whatever you want to call it. Vegas rolled them. They lost the first game, and they rolled them in that series. So the Knights are playing well. The Oilers are going to have to play, Andrew, their best hockey of the playoffs right now to beat this Vegas Golden Knights team. They can't make defensive mistakes. They're going to have to score. They're going to have to hit on their power plays because that's the one thing about the Vegas Golden Knights is they were taking Winnipeg scored power play goals on them. Their penalty killing is terrible for the Vegas Golden Knights. But during the regular season, they took the fewest amount of penalties. Vegas, 243 penalties they took. Not penalty minutes, but actual penalties. That's the fewest of all NHL teams. I think St. Louis was about 15 higher than that. So they don't take a lot of penalties, but when they do, their penalty killing was terrible. So Edmonton's going to have to take their opportunities in this series. And we saw in the first game, with the power plays. Andrew, I would look at those, and you've been doing it with success, those power play points. They're not up yet. I don't see them yet for tomorrow. But those power play points, look at some of the guys, because you get plus money on them. So you're going to get plus money on guys like Draisaitl, obviously McDavid, even the guys on the point, like let's say like Nick Nurse, oh my God, like Darnell Nurse. I'm thinking of the Raptors coach they fired. But these are the guys who are going to get, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. These are the guys you want to take advantage of, because if we do see some power plays for the Oilers, you're going to hit some plus money ones. And sometimes you can hit sort of that double or triple where it's like a McDavid goal by Draisaitl and one of the D-men or something like that, and you hit all 3 in one. So it's very rare you can hit 3 bets on one goal, but that's where you do it. And you've been very good at it. So I haven't released one single power play point, but I'm gonna take some of your advice and maybe start pumping some of those out.
You inspired it with Tampa Bay a few years ago, and I just kind of picked up where you left off with those. I want to show some love to Vegas. Of course, they did score 6 goals, so I got to mention that Jack Eichel has lived up to all expectations as far as his production during the playoffs. He had 5 shots, a goal, and an assist in their 6-goal effort. Chandler Stevenson continues to play really well, and Jonathan Marchessault with 4 shots on goal. So lots of guys worth looking at as well. And I know he plays in the top line, but I feel like nobody really talks about Ivan Barbashev. He's someone probably worth getting in your arsenal as well. And some of these players, I know we don't want to get too fancy, but some of these players that aren't scoring but are picking up assists, you can get really good prices, like a guy like Riley Smith or Brett Howden. Some of these guys just aren't finding the back of the net. Like, for example, Morgan Riley for the Toronto Maple Leafs. The odds makers adjust to it, but I know he scored a few goals, Carm, but overall, sometimes you want to just bet a player to get an assist. I know Colorado isn't playing anymore, but I used to always take Devon Toews to get an assist because every one of his points was an assist. He barely scored goals. So you can get a way better price if you're just specifically saying what kind of point they will be getting. So got to show love to this Vegas team because Marchessault, Eichel, Barbashev, they played really well. So great stuff, Carm. Happy to go over 2 games. I checked last night in our group chat, and I was like, oh, just 1 game. But I was happy we were doing 2 games today, man. So what do you have going on this weekend?
Brian Leonard is going to be at the game on Saturday. I think he told me he's going to the game on Saturday. And here's the unbelievable thing, because he said he's going to the game on the weekend, and then he said he goes, you can get in tickets. You can get in for like $100. I'm like, how is this possible? You can go to a playoff game in Vegas for like $100 or so. It's unbelievable. You have to sell 2 kidneys and part of your liver if you want to go watch a game in Toronto, and then you're sitting next to a guy in a suit who doesn't cheer. So, I'm just taking shots at these guys. I'm sorry. It's in my blood. I'm still pissed about last night, Andrew. But listen, with that said, next week, it's going to be a 2-person format the whole week with not a lot of games going on. So it's going to be Andrew and I. I will not be on Wednesday's show. I am on my way for 7 days to Punta Cana. It's my wife's milestone birthday. So I let her choose when she wanted to go, and she wants to go on her birthday. So she's nowhere near this city. So we are gone. Brian is going to fill my chair in. I'm still going to continue to do some of the PuckTime episodes while I'm down there. And of course, the PuckTime Charity Challenge, which will start on Monday. Monday will be our first day of releasing plays, and hopefully we can build some money for some charities. When this video gets posted, or if you're watching this later on, when it's on our YouTube channel, drop a comment on there of your favorite charity or one that means something to you. If it's anything to do with you lost a family member due to cancer or anything like that, drop it in there. It's near and dear to my heart because having lost both my parents to cancer, that's one that is near and dear to me. But we will take the top 4, we'll run a poll, and we will distribute some money out to those 4 great charities as well too. Now, getting back to this, as far as today, a couple plays in baseball, 4 plays up in NHL. It's a play and props card, and then a bunch of stuff going up this weekend. So you can use that access code Leafs 1967. Leafs 1967 will get you $20 off a 3-day all access. So you're going to drop it from $59 down to $39, which is less than the price of 2 packages. And you're going to get every single play through this weekend. It's going to be a big weekend, so I'm hoping to have a very profitable weekend along with this big weekend. My show best bet, guys, I am going to the Carolina game tonight because I expect shots on goal. We didn't see it in the first game. I'm going with it in the second game. And I'm going to take Brent Burns over 3.5 shots. He's only stayed under this number twice. Once against the Islanders when he had a shot on goal, and in game 1 where he had 2. 6-4, 1, 5, 6, 5, and 2. He has gone over this number in 5 of 7 games thus far, and that's who we're going to take tonight to get us at least 4 shots on goal. Have a great weekend, guys.
Great stuff, Carm. You have been on a massive roll, guys. Use that promo code. It is a funny one, but it's also going to be a profitable one as well. I'm looking forward to a great 3 days myself. I got a jam-packed UFC card. I've got baseball going. I'm going to start firing a bit more in baseball now that I've kind of had some time to take a look at some of the numbers and how some of these teams and pitchers and batters are doing. Jump into some of those props. And on a very, very small NHL run here, but 4 straight winners. So we'll try and build off that into the weekend. And hopefully when I talk to you next on Monday, Carm, that run is even bigger. So that's the goal here moving into to the weekend. But one best bet going up after this show, it will be for a game tomorrow in the NHL. You guys can get that, of course, at WagerTalk. And my best bet's going to be a player prop. I'm going to go with Seth Jarvis to record a point. Seth Jarvis has 4 points in his last 5 games. He's a huge factor for this Carolina Hurricanes team. And despite them not being a very, very high-scoring team, whenever they're on the board, we usually find his name right there with them. So I'll take Seth Jarvis to have a big game to find the board here, find the stat sheet, and get us a point. Great price at -120. Carmine has Brent Burns from the same team, Carolina, over 3.5 shots on goal. Always a pleasure doing these shows with Carmine. Thank you to all of you guys for watching every single day. Hit that like button. It really does help the two of us out and promotes the show that we really, really enjoy doing. And of course, shout out to Will and Dan, our producers here on Wager Talk. Thanks so much, guys. Take care and best of luck.
Have you checked out all the new handicappers at WagerTalk? If not, here's your chance. You can take 50% off your first daily or 3-day all-access purchase at WagerTalk using coupon code TRYWT. Our new roster of experts is 30 deep, covering sports from all around the world, giving you tons of options to choose from. All you have to do to redeem this offer is go to WagerTalk.com, choose a handicapper of your choice, and use coupon code TRYWT at checkout, saving 50% on your first purchase.